Sit! Welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast, where we discuss Dynasty strategy, rankings, and all things NFL. So get ready to geek out on fantasy football with your host, Rich Dotson.
And welcome to the Dynasty Nerds Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm still sick, Rich. He's non-sick, Matt.
Hey.
And he's healthy, Garrett.
How's it going?
Not as good as you find, fellas, with your immune systems at tip-top shape. Mine's being a little bitch.
There's a reason we're here away from you, and it's because we don't want to be like you.
Yeah, so I text you guys, like, you guys can't come over today. Like, this is quarantine.
Stay away.
So
once you told me that it went through your whole family, I was like, I don't need it to go through my whole family. I'm good.
Yeah, that was the side factor too. Like, it is contagious because, like, for the last 2 weeks, like, it's gone, like, nothing too crazy, but like my oldest got it, then my youngest, and then my wife, and then now I get it like literally like 3 or 4, like, I don't know where it was hiding, but it was hiding somewhere. I don't know where it was, sneaky little virus, but it got me. I don't know what orifice it went in, but I hope it was fine.
I'm one of those guys that, for whatever reason, and I'm probably jinxing it, but I almost never get sick. Like, it's been, I think, 3 years since I've been sick. Like, even like anything mild, like 100 degrees. Like, I'll get like colds and stuff here and there, but like I don't get like sick very often. But I always joke that like I could use a sick one. Like, not like a really sick one, but just like sick enough where I just like lay around and watch TV, like that level of sick.
Yeah, I only get colds too, I guess, really. I've never been like outside. I got COVID once and I felt terrible for one day. And then, like, besides that, like, ulcer that I got, like, that was more of like, is an ulcer a sickness or is that just more like of a medical malfunction?
Yeah, more of a medical. I don't think it's a sickness as much.
It's not a sickness. No, that is definitely medical emergency. No, sure. It's not done. I wish I could say the same. I don't know. I remember sleeping through the second half of the Super Bowl last year because I had a 102 degree temperature for like a week straight. So, yeah.
I have a really stupid theory. It's like, and my buddy's a nurse, and I've like talked to him about it. But I'm like, honestly, I think a lot of sicknesses are just mental weakness. And like, if you just decide not to be sick, you just won't. And
all right, bubble boy.
It's kind of ridiculous, but I believe it. It's true.
I love your positive outlook on sickness.
He's like, as a medical professional, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I was like, it's probably fair.
It doesn't help. Like, fair. I also like own a flooring company, and like for the company, like I go out and do measures for it. So I go into people's homes like all the time.
Oh, sure.
Like randomly, and like shake people's hands and things.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Who knows what I put my lips on? All kinds of things. So
who knows?
So, but anyways, I am sick, so I'd like to get through this show at some point before I lose all energy and my brain is still.
Right.
I'm losing mental capacity.
All right, well, let's get into wide receivers now. We're going to be doing wide receivers and tight ends in this show. We're going to be talking about our top 12 dynasty players, not redraft. This is our top 12 dynasty wide receivers, and then we'll get into tight ends. And guys, we were talking about it before the show, but the top tier, and now some people might have it 2 tiers or a tier and a half, but those top, like for me, it's probably about 7 guys.
Mm-hmm.
I have in a very similar tier, so I'm sure we'll have some differences in our top 7, but I'm not going to be able to very strongly argue them because I feel like we're in an interesting range where we have a lot of guys under the age of 27 that are producing or are just young guys that maybe haven't quite produced as much, but we see some elite upside in those players. And so it's just a really hard tier to pick apart right now.
Yeah, you guys said you have one big tier at 7. I told you I have a tier by itself, and it's Jamar Chase for me personally. I just can't imagine a scenario that I don't chase Jamar Chase as the first receiver off the board there. Like, doesn't mean like, but again, the tier is like literally the step down is small enough where an ant could make the step with only 2 legs. Like, that's how small the tier is. But I think like,
is it just small? Is it just small enough where you would stub your toe and swear a little bit, like just one of those kind of stuff?
No, not at all. You wouldn't even know. Like, you wouldn't notice it unless you rubbed your finger across it. And even then, it's like smaller, like than like a ridge in like a dime, like things along those lines. Very small.
Oh, that's a real small
micro tier.
So why don't you start, Rich, with your? Are we just going to go 3? Are we going to go 4? Or what are we going to do here, Garrett?
Let's do the 7.
Yeah, because if it's all the same 7, which I'm assuming it's going to be, then what's the point? Like Jamar Chase, I have it in this order. I would take these guys, and I think I feel pretty confident I would take them in this order. Tier: Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Malik Nabers, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I have the same 7. Different order, but same 7. Matt, what about you? Same 7 for you?
I've got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, Malik Nabers, and Emeka Egbuka.
You are an Emeka slut all of a sudden.
Okay, so Emeka Egbuka, and that means CeeDee Lamb was booted out?
No, CeeDee was 3.
Or Amon-Ra was.
Amon was my number 8.
Oh, interesting. So is that still a tier, or is it top 8?
He's still in the same tier as me. Yeah, he's in the same tier as those other guys for sure. Oh. So that's why I wasn't sure how we were going to handle this. So all right.
Well, you handle it. You're the one that's out here skiing all over the place with Emeka Egbuka so high. Is it obviously because he's just turned 23 years old and like he's Baker's number 1 in this offense?
It's a Leo DiCaprio type thing. It's under 25.
Exactly.
He's interested.
I'm interested. And yes, it's all what you just said. And listen, we had a lot of questions about the other wide receivers and really how he was going to fit in. We know how he's going to fit in now in the long term. The question marks are kind of clearing themselves up just with injury and oldness. And I'm expecting Mike Evans to probably not be on this team next year. Who knows about Godwin? So wheels up on Emeka Egbuka, dude.
I think Godwin's contract says he's going to be here next year.
I mean, I think this contract does. Yeah. We'll see if he is.
But does Matt say that?
We'll see if
he is. Obviously, we saw this offense can win with 2 receivers. Obviously, Emeka's the number 1 in the offense, and we saw what Chris Godwin and Mike Evans can do in this offense. So, like, I'm not concerned about it. They got a good offensive line. Tristan Wirfs is a fantastic anchor. You got Baker, who's just a dog. There's no situation too big for him. So, I don't hate it. I got him a little bit lower. I go Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Emeka Egbuka, Tat McMillan. And then I honestly go Rashee Rice and Odunze. I know there's 13 players, but like I had such a hard time between like Tet, Rice, and Rome. Like
sure.
Even saying out loud now, like, I could easily put Rome ahead of both those guys. Like, then I could put Rice ahead of both those guys. Like, Tet's only 22. He's gonna be a target hog. Like, he could be like, I have ahead of him. And then like, you guys know how much I love Lad McConkey, who's second.
Hold on, let me get my 1 through 7 first before you already get to your 13.
All right. Sorry, Slump.
All right. So for me, 1 through 7, I have Puka Nacua as the number 1 guy.
Oh,
which I know is a little outside of consensus.
But
we saw what he did, even with, if you add in that 4.8 point game, which he was injured during that game, he's still averaging 23.1 points per game. That's the highest among any player that's played more than 4 or 5 games. So he would still be the highest, but if you don't count that, now he's in the upper 20s as far as his points per game. So I mean, he's been absolutely absurd. And I mentioned it before, I'm not as worried about the Matthew Stafford thing. I think it's other people, because I think Matthew Stafford still has a couple years left in him, but 2, it's more of a Sean McVay thing for me. If Sean McVay's there, I feel confident that they're going to know how to get him the football. They did it with Jared Goff before, and guys like Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And I think whoever they get to come there next, they're going to probably still be pushing for playoffs and Super Bowls and things like that. So we'll probably bring in another guy that is similar age and that kind of thing.
Devontae Adams doesn't scare you long term?
At 32, he does not. No. So I have Puka just ever so slightly ahead of Jamar Chase. But I'll take this guy 6 times and that guy 4 times. Like it's very close between those 2 players. I have JSN at 3. I have Justin Jefferson at 4. I have Amon-Ra at 5. I have CeeDee Lamb at 6. And then I have Malik Nabers at 7. And that kind of completes my tier. I have Malik, I think, the lowest of all of us. Same tier. but the injuries already in just 2 years are starting to be a little bit of a concern for me. So he's the one guy that could fall out for any reason that's not age related, because I do worry about those injuries. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the well, and I do want to say that this is a clear tier for me, even in my overall. Like Malik Nabers, I have at 15, and then my number 8 guy, I have Drake London, and I have him at 26. So it really is a very clear separation of those receivers.
Yeah, all these guys are in a row for me, almost in rankings, from 26, 28, 31, 32 to 13, and then even like Lab McConkey at 14 to 34. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
yeah,
this is where we probably like different on some of those running backs. Like, I'm going to start, like, I'm pushing all those receivers up ahead of those guys.
Well, we're not too far apart, because for me, it's at 26, Drake London, 27, Rashee Rice, 28, I have Odunze, 29. So this would be wide receiver 11. I have Emeka Egbuka. And then at wide receiver 12, I have Garrett Wilson, number 32. But then, honestly, that tier goes pretty much to wide receiver 15. At 13, I have Tet McMillan, 14, Nico Collins, 15, Ladd McConkey. And all those are in the top 38 guys. So they are all very close together.
Yeah, I put Ladd. I said I stop at Rome, but I would put Ladd in that tier, because I could trade Rashee Rice for Ladd McConkey and feel comfortable about it. Like, doesn't mean necessarily I would do it, but like I'm not mad about doing it.
Yeah, there's a scenario where if I'm drafting 10 times, I have Drake London as the top guy in that tier, but could I see Ladd McConkey overtaking him in one of those drafts? Possible. And so that's why it's a huge second tier for me.
So I have Nico as wide receiver 18. I have Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, and Marvin Harrison ahead of him.
Okay, I have Harrison and Thomas right after.
He's getting
older. I have Nico now at 16. And I mean, what is he? I can't remember exactly where he stands right now, but I know it hasn't been great this year, right?
He's hurt. Yeah, he's been hurt like almost the whole year.
He's at wide receiver 36 overall. On a points per game basis, he's a little bit higher than that.
That's what I was worried. Looking for.
He's only averaging
30 on a points per game basis.
Yeah, so it has not been great.
Listen, Jalen Noel looked good. They invested in Jaden Higgins as well. Like, there's a lot of other options to go around.
Even Xavier Hutchinson, the other Iowa State guy.
Yeah. So, like, for me, like, Nico's dropped the most, and I don't see him going. Like, there's not much he could probably do. One, I don't anticipate him doing anything, but like, there's not much he can do to really jump up there. Like, he's in that Chris Olave, George Pickens, T. Higgins kind of tier for me personally.
How confident are you guys in Drake London right now? Because Matt, did you give your 8 through 12?
No, I did not.
Go ahead and do yours.
So 8 was Amon-Ra. Then it was Garrett Wilson, Drake London at 10, Tet McMillan, and then Rashee Rice to finish out my top 12.
Would you have a couple other guys in that same tier though, even if they're not in the top 12, or is that where the tier ends?
No. I mean, I've got guys like Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison still kind of nipping at his heels a bit. And that's, I mean, AJ Brown is still there. I think he probably needs to move down a little bit, just given age.
I didn't hear Rome. Is Rome pretty low for you?
Rome is a guy I got to address. He is probably too low. I'm trying to. He's right above T. Higgins, so he's at wide receiver 17 right now, and right below Nico. And I would take him above Nico, so he's probably someone that needs to move up. Maybe probably closer to where AJ Brown is. So wide receiver 13-ish, 14-ish for me.
Yeah. And I think that's puts him in that tier then again, because he's averaging 15.5 points per game this year, which would put him right now at wide receiver 12. So he is performing well this year. I know we talked about Caleb Williams on the last episode and some of the concerns we have about him, but I think that's more so is he going to be able to get everybody involved enough? Or is it just going to be one of these lone wolf type scenarios where it's Odunze and then a couple other guys here and there? Or is he going to be able to feed Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and some of these other players?
So that's why I have him high, because I think that's what he's done. Definitely with his last couple of weeks, like, he's really shown and established himself from target share wise and targets. Like, he is the alpha, true number one in this offense.
I agree. That's why I haven't met
DJ Moore. They will. Luther Burden's still like a crapshoot on what he can do. Obviously, that's what Colston Loveland do, but I think he's shown that he's the alpha. We love this tape coming out. I mean, again, I have him ahead of Ladd, and that says a lot for me because again, he's so young. He's 23 years and 4 months. Ladd's almost 25, but like again, same tier. Like I'm not gonna or 24. Same tier. Like I can go either way. But if I had to take today, I'd probably take Rome ahead of him because he has that true alpha in him. Even though, again, Ladd McConkey, like he might not be producing week in, week out. He's number 2 in the league in targets behind Jamar Chase. I mean, obviously everybody's behind Jamar Chase, but like Ladd's number 2 in the league in targets.
Oh, did he pass Olave?
Yeah, I believe he did this week.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
No, he didn't.
He did it?
Ladd's got 68 targets. Keenan Allen has 70. Jackson Smith-Njigba has 70. Olave has 83, and Jamar Chase has 99.
Wow.
So maybe, maybe you had a filter on when you were looking at that, and you were only looking at not the whole year.
I had to because he was 100% number 2 whenever I was looking at. But okay, yeah, okay.
Well, close. I mean, number 5, and he's only he's only
top 5's impressive.
He's only 3 away from being number 3. You know what I mean? Like he's pretty close.
And Keenan's ahead of him. So like once Keenan's off the team, like I think he goes right back to like high end wide receiver, like decent wide receiver 1 week in and week out. Him and Gadsden.
I do want to quickly just touch on 2 players that are problematic for me to rank. One of them's Drake London. He had, his first 2 years weren't great. Awesome last year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of the thing that moved him up. This year he's been really inconsistent. He's had 2 just monster games, and he is inside the top 12 on a points per game basis. So it's not like he's been bad, but it's somewhat off of a 31.8 and a 21 or 25 point game. His other games, 8.2, 10.5, 5.9, 13.5. So he's just not been as consistent as I was hoping he would be. Is that something we think changes, or is it we kind of stuck with that because Michael Penix is the quarterback?
I think Penix could be better. And the thing with Drake London for me, why I have him as high, is like he literally just turned 24. He's going to get extended. He's going to get paid big time. Like he's an alpha receiver. We've seen him do it. The offense as a whole, obviously, and listen, you can't even take last week's game where he had 8. He come off a 31-point game, then they put Kirk Cousins in, and Kirk Cousins couldn't even get first down.
He didn't play this week.
Oh, that's right. He was out. That's right. He was out this week. I apologize. Is my filter? Oh, I'm not. No wonder. I'm gonna.
Oh, good. No worries. But he's a troubling one for me. And Garrett Wilson's the other one that's really hard for me to rank because he seems to get it done enough every year, but he never seems to get past that, wide receiver 10 to 15 range. We know with a good quarterback, he could do it, but he just has never been given that guy. And so he's the other one that's really hard for me.
And I have those guys back to back. I have Garrett Wilson, then Drake London. And I think that goes back to pre-draft biases. Like I just had Garrett Wilson higher, so he's still above Drake London. But I agree, both these guys are difficult to kind of nail down because we've seen glimpses, we've seen stretches where these guys have looked amazing and looked like maybe they could be top tier guys. But to your point, obviously Garrett Wilson hasn't had the quarterback play, but Drake London really hasn't either. I feel like he is being somewhat capped by Michael Penix. And just this offense in general seems to have been very kind of inconsistent. The couple weeks ago they beat Buffalo this past week. They looked like crap. You know what I mean? Like I know obviously Michael Penix wasn't part of that, but it's just who knows what you're going to get week in and week out with this entire team, I guess is my point. So I think that can kind of extrapolate out to certain players as well. And Drake London feels like one of those guys that's kind of a product of this whole team's kind of up and down kind of motion that they're going through week to week, week in and week out.
And with me, with Garrett Wilson is kind of like I use as a bonus to what you said. Like he has done it every single year when he's on the field, he produces. He's done it with not good quarterback play. And this is a team that's in line to have the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So his quarterback, in reality, we know the number 1 overall pick has a higher success rate than most other first round quarterbacks. So he's finally
typically he's past 4 been rough.
You're right. They've been a little rough, which means the odds are the next one is going to be really good.
We're due, baby.
Yeah, we're due. So for me, he just turned 25 years old. He's got an upgrade at quarterback coming very soon, and he's got the contract to solidify himself. And like outside of like Drake London, he has produced despite a dumpster fire around him all the time. And like and they got so much to do there in New York. Like he has no competition. His number one target competition right now is gonna be Mason Taylor going next year. So like he's in a really good spot, and it's why I have him at just 9th overall, because I'm willing to gamble on Garrett Wilson. No matter who's back there, I think he's that talented of a receiver, and I kind of like that he's been bulletproof, right? Like I don't have to worry about like who's quarterback back there. Like he's still getting it done.
Rich,
I really hope he gets his. Oh God, Matt.
Sorry, Rich. Where do you have him ranked? I don't remember.
I have him ranked as my wide receiver 9 and 24 overall.
Okay, yeah, same with me, 9.
Yeah, right. And right behind, like he's right behind Drake London, and I can go either way on that one, just because Drake London's a year younger, and I might take Garrett Wilson ahead of him, and like I have him right behind Emeka. But like Matt, again, we mentioned tiers. Like I have no arguments for this. Like if you ask me now, like even talking out loud, like oh maybe I would take Emeka like ahead of both those guys. Like now, like literally those are players like for me, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Emeka, maybe probably not. Probably honestly for those 3 players, I don't know if Tet would get it right. Like for those 3 for me, like I think any second you can ask me, and I'd change my order.
Well, the reason my reason's very simple why I have Emeka above guys like Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Tet McMillan, and it's the quarterback that is attached to that wide receiver, and the fact that he's younger than all of them. I mean, other than Tet, it's just it boils down to that. Baker is getting it done at a very high level, and we know that Emeka can produce for fantasy purposes at a very consistent high level. I know, it's only been a small sample size.
I was say, Mr. Sample Size over here. I'm surprised it seems so high.
But I mean, have we seen a ton out of any of those other guys? Same, you know what I mean? So
I hear you. I'm surprised. This is your process. It's typically a little longer.
At wide receiver, I feel a lot more comfortable trusting my eyes and trusting what I see at the NFL level, and kind of extrapolating that out. I always have. So Emeka Egbuka, I feel a little bit more comfortable.
And you're right. I mean, all your arguments are very sound. Like the quarterback that he's tied to, his longevity. Like for right now, he's never going anywhere. Like he's not going anywhere. He's a 1st-round pick. So like, and what's wild is like he's only 1 year younger than Drake London. That's kind of wild too. Like you think like Drake London falls in that like like Josh Jacobs just turned 27. What? He's been in the league for 10 years. Like what are you talking about?
Right.
Drake London just turned 24. Like it's wild. Like that's another thing with Drake London. Like he's so young as well, and he's got so many reps under his belt, so but again, splitting hairs, man. Like I won't argue like you taking Emeka there, because like I would easily tomorrow, like I might go, you know what, I'll take Emeka too. I kind of want more shares if I don't have enough.
Last thing I'll say about Garrett Wilson, but before we wrap this up and get to tight end, I really hope Garrett Wilson gets his Terry McLaurin year, where he got Jaden Daniels finally, and all of those like okay seasons turned into like a great season because he finally got the quarterback that he had been missing for all that time. So I hope Garrett Wilson gets that in multiple of those seasons, but I hope this is finally the time where, they get the first pick and they draft Fernando Mendoza and he's just awesome, or whatever. So.
Real quick, obviously this is a hot name on like the trade rumors and all that kind of stuff. Where do you guys have a guy like Brian Thomas at this point? Obviously injured right now, has been injured, has had like a wrist injury kind of throughout the year, dropping balls kind of left and right. Where do you guys have?
Not far, 17.
What'd you say?
Not too far from these guys. I have him at 17.
Okay. I have 17 as well.
Okay. Because I still have him at 13, and it's like I feel like he's a player that really, he's had a down year. We saw what he could be last year. I don't trust the rumors that he's going to be traded or anything like that. So I think he's going to be. What'd you say?
GM said those were rumors.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I know it's a hot rumor at the time, but I think you're not doing your quarterback any favors by getting rid of a guy like Brian Thomas. He's struggling a little bit right now with some injuries. I think get him healthy and see what he can do at the end of the season.
And he just signed. He just drafted him. Like they have 3 more years of him on a rookie contract. He ain't going anywhere.
Totally.
I'll say this though. I do find this a little bit interesting because I've also seen reports of maybe moving things around on how they're lining guys up. And to me, that would make perfect sense. When I go back to my draft profile of Brian Thomas, and granted, he outperformed what I expected, but I thought of him in his style of play as an incredible Z. Like his best stuff was beating a guy off the line of scrimmage because he had a good release and getting vertical and making big plays downfield. That was what he was the best. And so he profiled more that way, where Travis Hunter profiled more as a traditional X player. So if they end up making that switch in this offense, even though on the surface it would hurt Brian Thomas, I think he would be more effective and efficient in that type of role. So, and his numbers would go back to similar to where they were, averaging 15, 16 points a game. I don't know. I know that seems like a downgrade, but I actually don't think it would be bad for him if they go that route.
Well, they had it
because of Travis Hunter.
They had to have a plan when they drafted Travis Hunter. You know what I mean? You don't have a guy that a lot of people consider a number one wide receiver and then draft another number one wide receiver and not have a plan as to where you see them fitting your offense. So Liam Cohen had to have seen something and said, I want him here, this guy here, and then my offense can be what I want it to be. So we'll see if that's it. I mean, Parker Washington is a great slot receiver too, and seems to be making plays week in and week out in kind of a limited role. So
even Diami Brown's been annoying.
He really has. So I mean, they have pieces there. We'll see what this kind of looks like once Brian Thomas comes back from whatever this. They didn't really announce what the injury was, right? It looked like a shoulder, but they didn't kind of intimate how long he'd be out. So we'll see. Hopefully he just gets healthy and gets over the dropsies that he's had early in the season.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, don't forget about Fast Draft. Fast Draft is the best place to get in some of those best ball lineups. There's other places out there that can do it, but the nice part is with Fast Draft, it's still new. It's still fresh. There is still an opportunity to get in there before all of the sharks do, all of the guys that are putting in 150 lineups per week. If you just want a casual place to play and go win some money, go do it over on Fast Draft. Just on a $5 entry on your quick Super 6 Slam or the Flex 6 Frenzy tournaments, that $5 entry could turn into $300 very, very easily for you. When you do that, we give you everything we have at Dynasty Nerds as well. So we'll hook you up using promo code NERDS. We'll give you a $25 gift card if you've already been with us for a while. And you even get the deposit match. So your $10 turns into $20, your $50 turns into $100, your $100 into $200. So best place to go play some of that best ball. I've really enjoyed it, and looking at my teams and what I have over my, the landscape of all of my lineups. The Cam Scatterboo was really good for my drafts, and now it is really, really bad.
Really, really bad.
But it was looking so good for me. But go ahead, head over there, Fast Draft. Use the promo code NERDS, and that will get you the free year or the $25 gift card plus the deposit match. So use promo code NERDS at Fast Draft today. All right, let's get to the one that I think could actually have some of the most discussion and debate on, even though this is typically a position that goes quicker for a lot of things. This is a position very much so in flux right now, and that's the tight end spot. Tight end, man, I could see a lot of different routes with my top 6 guys. There's a few that are locked into top 6 spots, but I could see him going in a few different spots inside of there. Some guys sneaking in or just missing the cut. So I'm really curious to see where you guys have all these players. But Matt, why don't you give us your top 3 tight ends right now in order?
All right, so top 3, obviously Brock Bowers sitting there on top. And number 2, I have Trey McBride. Number 3, Tyler Warren, the rookie phenom. I mean, hard to argue that, I feel like.
Absolutely. Rich, same, different?
Yeah, different, but I can't. I have a tier. Like, this is all the same tier, the top 4. Because I have a Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Warren. Like, it's
okay.
There's no argument any which way you. I mean, okay, I think Brock Bowers is a clear 1-1. I think for me,
you would think that, but I actually had somebody the other day comment because I put out a tweet about a specific guy we'll talk about in a second that's moved up the board quite a bit, and I had some people coming at me saying, there's no way Brock Bowers should be your top tight end anymore. And I found that interesting. And I get it. People will say whatever and spout out, but I think have a little bit of PTSD from Kyle Pitts. And I don't think this is the same scenario at all. This is a player that's been hurt basically all season. He tried to play through the injury and it just didn't go well. And now he's missed time. And so I think it's just the recency bias of not getting what we had out of him last year in our lineups this year. That is, I think, doing that for some people. But for me, it is still very much like I could understand maybe the argument of Trey McBride over him because they were somewhat close. But, I had people that were insinuating that he should be dropping to 3 and maybe even 4. And to me, that's just kind of asking.
What? I have as my 11th overall player in Superflex tight end premium.
I have him at 18 in tight end premium.
Yeah, again, he's been hurt, which sucks, but like he's 22 years old, and this kid has been absolutely dominant since he was 18 years old the moment he stepped on the field at Georgia, and he's done it everywhere since. I have extreme confidence in him. Yeah, he's banged up, but like we're not moving Malik Nabers down too far. You know what I mean? I ain't moving Brock Bowers anywhere. I'm buying the dip. If I can move him for like recency bias on Tucker Kraft or Tyler Warren or Trey McBride, I'm totally willing to do it. And I love those guys. But again, those guys are all like, let me say this. I love Brock Bowers, and that's how much I have how high I have him. But I won't argue if you took Tucker Kraft 1. Definitely like you're a Green Bay fan. Like Tucker Kraft just dominates. He leads the league in yards after contact. You know what I mean? Like he's unbelievably dominant. You just hope the target share is going to be there. That's the only worry. It's been there. He's the number 1 receiver there, but like who knows if it ever changes. But like Brock Bowers is just, to me, just on a different, he's a unicorn player. Everybody else is.
And I still have Brock as my number 1. I have Trey McBride at 2. And then I also have Tyler Warren at 3. As a rookie, he's come in and been so good. But I can totally understand Tucker Kraft being there too. I have him at 4.
So do I.
So it's not like it's crazy far down. But then 5, I put Odunze Gadsden at 5. I moved him up quick. Rich agreed and Matt's eyebrows went up. So Matt, go ahead. What do you think here about Odunze Gadsden?
Listen, I love that. I didn't have the gonads to do it, and I didn't, because I thought I was going to get torn a new one if I had him up that high, and you guys both had him there. So I got him up to 7, and I was like, all right, I got him. I have him in a respectable place here, and I'm not going to overblow Gadsden's value. And I was just kind of playing it safe. I felt like so I didn't get yelled at during this episode specifically. So now that I know you guys both have him that high, I'm just wheels up, dude. Gadsden's going up to 5 right now as we speak. So,
White followed him through in the season. He's only 22 years old. I think Keenan Allen, like we mentioned, Keenan Allen's not long for this team. He seems like he'd be the clear-cut number 2 at times, number 1 option in this offense. I do not think he's going anywhere. He's looked absolutely fantastic. I think he led the team in targets this past week, possibly, if I remember that right.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. This week he only had 5, but they were crushing him.
Yeah, so he's, and that's the thing. Like here. Okay, so we all understand the top 4. Right, like we understand the top 4. Nobody's out,
and apparently we all understand the top 5. Apparently now.
So but Gats, like once you get past those guys, like what are you doing? You're shooting for the moon. Like you're chasing 100%. Those guys, and there's nobody I'd rather take. Like listen, Sam LaPorta. If you want to play it safe, take Sam LaPorta. Like if you just want to play it safe for guys, give you some weeks here and there, but like probably finishes like tight end 7 to 8 most years, like which is good, but like very consistent. I think Sam LaPorta is your guy. But if you want upside, it's Gadsden easily for me. Like, and it's not, even though I have him 10 picks higher than LaPorta.
Yeah, I have him 12 picks apart. So I'm in a similar spot. Look, I think one of the things that's been missing in this offense is they don't have a true red zone threat. And I think that's the biggest thing that they've really been missing, and Justin Herbert has needed. Because even though you look at a guy like now I'm even blanking on his name. Quentin Johnson.
Quentin Johnson.
He's got the size and frame, but he doesn't have the physicality or the ball skills needed to be that red zone threat. Glad McConkey is great, underneath and things like that, but he's not going to be able to post guys up or jump ball the way other guys are. Gadsden is just, I think he could be the piece that unlocks this offense.
And I think Harbaugh's been looking for this piece as well. You know, whether it be like they're trying to use like Will Disley in that offense. They've been rolling people through there, try to utilize a tight end. I think this is a piece that's been missing. So I absolutely love it. I think he's in a tier all by himself here at 5 because there's no way I don't take him. He's a guy I probably overdraft because I'd be scared of missing out on him.
I think that's the reason they drafted. I think it's the reason they drafted Trey Harris. It's the reason they brought Mike Williams back at the beginning of the season, and then he retired. Yeah. And Keenan Allen they brought back in because he's a bigger body guy, and then Gadsden just started emerging, and they were like, "This bingo, this is it." To your point, Garrett, they have found that piece, and really since he started emerging, what has Quentin Johnston's value been? Totally depressed, totally losing value on a week in a week. I don't even think he got targeted this past week.
No target. Gadsden crushes his. Now he just take the top off receiver. That's all he is.
Sell for whatever you can get at this point.
Yeah, roller coaster. Yeah. And what I love about the emergence of Gadsden is he makes me so comfortable to miss out on Warren, Kraft, Bowers, and them, and taking in a super flex draft, elite quarterback, grabbing an elite running back and receiver. Like I feel so like he makes me feel. Instead of like, oh no, I have to have one of those top 4 guys. I have to have one of those top 4 guys. He comforts me saying, okay, I'm totally good there. Give me Bijan, give me Garrett Wilson, and give me 2 quarterbacks and then take Gadsden is what I love. He's probably going to go right around realistically anywhere from the 5th to 6th round. Some people might be a little bit scared. I'm still I see people draft him in startups taking guys like LaPorta ahead of him. I can see people taking Colston Loveland.
I didn't premium him. I'm taking him in the 4th, baby. I got him at player 37 in tight end.
I'm a 56. I'd be afraid to move out, but I think I wouldn't have to draft him there. And if I did, I feel if he goes that high, then I would just grab Tyler Warren. I feel like somebody's way overdrafted him at that point.
So one guy I do want to touch on real quick. We skipped over him a little bit, but Tucker Kraft. This is a player that all offseason, I think each one of us at one point had him as a buy or a tear down or a something. We've been talking about him a lot. Because we said he's one of the few guys in an opportunity where his talent meets the opportunity to potentially be the 1 or the 2 in this offense. And it's played out exactly like we could have hoped. He has become the number 1 option in this offense. Yeah, they took a 1st-round wide receiver, but he's going to play a specific role behind this guy. And so it's going to be what we got out of Mark Andrews for years. We got out of Travis Kelce for years. This is what we're getting in Tucker Kraft now. And so it's really nice when the process for us kind of does show itself because we're like, this is what it could be. Doesn't always work out that way, but everything we hoped played out.
Yeah, he has everything you want, the most elite status for a tight end you want. He is arguably, in my opinion, the number 1 option in this offense with a tie to a really good quarterback, and he's dominant with the ball in his hands. He's literally the number 1 receiver in the NFL yards after the catch. Nobody's better than Tucker Kraft. So he is so elite. I know I have Trey McBride at 2, but again, if I would have no problem taking, like I said, I know you guys had Tucker Kraft at 3. Because again, I'm not arguing Tyler Warren either.
I have him at 4.
As a quarterback play, you almost want to argue Tucker Kraft and Tyler Warren ahead of Trey McBride just because of quarterback play. And he's a clear cut.
He just gets so many targets though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing too. So all 4 great options there, and Tucker Kraft is just so dominant, and he's only going to get better. And they're all under 25
for sure. All right, so let's do. We already kind of got through 5, so let's do 6, 7, 8 here. For me, it's Sam LaPorta. He's kind of the guy that where you missed out on all the other fun young guys, and it's like, he'll work. I guess. But at that point, I'm kind of already looking at who's tight end 11 off the board, who's tight end 12, who's tight end 13 off the board. I'm already thinking about that at this point because I don't want to pay the price because I don't think his production is going to be consistent enough to those kind of levels, but I have him there. Then I have the old faithful George Kittle. I have him at 7. When he's on the field, still a very, very good player, but he just is always banged up. And then I have Jake Ferguson at 8 is my next
yuck.
So I have Sam LaPorta as well at 6. At 7 I have Colston Loveland, and that's going back to kind of pre-draft feeling. Obviously he's starting to get a little bit more work as the weeks go on. I think, if I don't see more out of him towards the end of the season, this is a guy I could see kind of drifting down a little bit. But at 8, I've got Dalton Kincaid. Did you go further than that?
I only went to 8.
Yeah. You stopped at 8. Okay.
We're almost the same. I have at LaPorta, and these guys are literally all in a row. 67, 66, 67, 68 for me. I have at LaPorta, Kincaid, Colston Loveland. Like same exact thing. I think LaPorta's safe. He's like a Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra injury away from being like elite because we know he could do that. Kincaid, I still love his upside in this offense as a number one option. And obviously Colston Loveland, way too early to say anything about him. He has a draft capital there. In there, I think he's like he's a 2026, 2027, like I think breakout kind of player for me. Because you remember, we have these guys like, Brock Bowers, Tyler Warren that just break out right away. But for the most part, tight ends, even going back to Kraft, Trey McBride, usually that position takes a couple of years to really come into their own for the most part outside of outliers. So that's why
Tyler Warren is nearly 2 years older than Colston Loveland. So both rookies, but Warren's much more physically, I guess.
5th-year senior versus a junior.
Right, exactly.
21 and 6 months, Colston Loveland. So that's why he's there too. It's just because of that upside I can't get. And that's what I'm chasing here. Like all my guys after this are all upside guys. Like they're all upside guys.
It's funny because your guys at 7 and 8 are at 11 and 12 for me. So I'm a little bit lower on them than you guys. But then at 9, I have Harold Fannin at 9. I have Kyle Pitts at 10. I have Dalton Kincaid at 11, and I have Colston Loveland at 12.
Okay, so I got 9 Mason Taylor. 10 I did get George Kittle in just because. Listen, once he gets rolling again, he's going to be doing his thing. 11 I have Jake Ferguson, which I think Garrett, you had him 7-ish, 8-ish, 8. Okay. And then 12, I also had Harold Fannin. Just super impressed with the rookie so far. Can't believe what a kind of a steal he was, and under the radar guy. And really, once you see him on the field, he is a true difference maker at the tight end position.
Told you guys so. I was right.
How do you round out your last
after Colston Loveland? I have Harold Fannin. And then I got Mason Taylor. Then I have George Kittle. Then I have Kyle Pitts. I actually even have Dallas Goedert ahead of Jake Ferguson.
Okay.
Interesting. Jake Ferguson's only 27. Dude, he's in a really good offense.
He's no different than Dalton Schultz. Definitely they extend George Pickens. He doesn't separate, man. Like that's the problem with me. Like he's just he's got to be heavily targeted. So now that CeeDee Lamb's back, I think Jacob Ferguson's going to come back to earth a little bit. Like again, if you watch the tape, I does not get separation whatsoever. So
we'll see, but we're still talking about outside. Like for me, it's still the more so than talent, because talent wise, I'd put him way down the list.
Yeah.
But it's the one that's the most dependent on the offense. And this offense throws the football more than any other offense. So until that's not true anymore, he's going to stay relatively relevant for me.
He's second in targets. Yeah, it's Trey McBride and then him. Yep, 66 and then 59.
Third in points overall. So yeah, I'm still interested in him. Kyle Pitts has been playing a lot better lately. So he snuck back into my top 12 at 10. I wanted to get Mason Taylor in. I had him at 13. I really, really wanted to get him in, but I had to get Colston Loveland in. I'm just worried about Colston Loveland, to the exact opposite of what I was just talking about with Gadsden and Tucker Kraft and some of those guys earlier. I'm worried that the path to number 1 and even potentially number 2 overall on the team in targets is blurry, because I think Rome's got that lockdown for 1. So then it's going to come down to 2. Who's going to be the number 2 on the team in targets? Could very well be him, but I am nervous about that. So that's why he's a little bit lower for me.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, dude, once we get to these guys like Mason Taylor, like you're talking Terrence Ferguson, like guys like that, like you once you get outside these, like you get your one guy that you trust, and then you're just taking shots.
Upside. Yeah, totally.
You take upside, and then you settle for a guy like Juwan Johnson and Cade Otton as like your safety net guy. You know what I mean? Along those lines. You know, like, I mean, who knows how low Mark Andrews goes at this point, even. So, like, I'm just.
It was. I wanted to get TJ Hawkinson, and it was weird to like not have him in there because it felt like on name value he should be, but he, for one reason or another, he just hasn't been producing. We'll see if once JJ comes back and if he can become the player that the Vikings hope he can be, then maybe that comes together. But we'll see.
Where did you have Hawkinson? How low did you? Because I have him at 13. I
have him at 14.
Okay,
so it's still not that low. But
yeah. I have him above Pitts, which right now, as we talk, feels wrong because he's 3 years. You know, Pitts is 3 years younger, and he has been playing better this year than Hawkinson. So that one's one that I might have to kind of reevaluate and move.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on these tight ends before we wrap the show up?
The number one advice I would say is always do your best to get one of those top 5 guys that we talked about. Like that's what you want. That's how you win. They give you such a better chance to win championships. Like if I'm going to start up, like I try to make sure I come out like one of those guys, like no matter what. And that's where the around the Gadsden overdraft would come into effect. Unless like all of a sudden I found like Brock Bowers at value, like late second for me. You know what I mean? Like he was there.
And I think to go off of that, because I 110% agree with that. If for some reason, like the guy ahead of you keeps taking it and the value's not there, don't overdraft the 6, 7, 8.
No,
like let it be, sit back and take a lot of high upside guys. Cause that's how you get a Gadsden. That's how you get a guy like maybe right now, a good one to go after Isaiah Likely. You know, that's how you get certain players that could elevate in stock and just take 3 or 4 crazy high upside guys and hope one of them turns into Jonnu Smith this year or the Gary Barnidge year or the, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Like the first guy that comes in my head, even though I don't know where I have him ranked there. Like if I missed, like I agree with you, even though I have LaPorta ranked higher, if I missed out on Gadsden, say like my strategy went wrong, the number one guy I'm making sure I'm going to get, that I'm going to overdraft that price him would be Mason Taylor. Like he fits that, or and him and Harold Phantom both kind of like fit that bill. Like I'd want both of those guys. Like I might even take those guys back to back. You know what I mean? Like in a draft to make sure I get those guys. And then you mentioned it, Garrett. Like later in the draft, Isaiah Likely is a great pick. Elijah Arroyo, Terrence Ferguson, Gunnar Helm, like all those guys.
Elijah Roro.
And you mentioned this, Garrett, like you said, why? Like you always definitely a tight end premium league or that. Like why would you want to have like take wide receiver 8? 7, 8, 9 on your roster? Like you're never going to play those guys anyways. They're roster cloggers. Like, you know, you don't want those guys on your roster. Like you want to take the upside players, definitely in tight end premium. It's going to be tight ends. And I usually try to grab a whole bunch of those guys, like get my core early. And then wherever else is taking their 6th, 7th receiver, like I'm grabbing those tight ends. And then I'll settle with some upside, like guy that I can just put in my lineup, like later in the draft, you know, like and the old guys that have value, you know, like going into this year, like Keenan Allen, one of those guys, Stephon Diggs, you know, as a receiver is kind of insulated if I need a guy. So,
yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go to sleep.
Sounds good.
All right. Adios.